Once again, I have a project that I did on my website, but I didn't get a video made for, and that would be this wooden mallet. I cut the head of the mallet from this piece of wood. It's a piece of hard maple that I picked up on a job site, and it was used to pack the steel that they shipped to the site. On this one, I also made the handle from hard maple, which I got from a pallet. For the new one, once again, I'm going to use this hard maple for the head. But for the handle, I have a piece of Douglas fir left over from making my rack of ribs cutting board. The first thing I need to do is cut the head of the mallet to the right length. Next, I need to square it up on the table saw by cutting all 4 sides. With the head squared up, I can recut the face angles to 87.5 degrees. Next, I need to roughly cut out the handle to 1 inch thick, 1.5 inches wide, and about 12 inches long. These stop cuts make the handle slimmer. I complete these cuts on the bandsaw, forming the taper on the handle. Now it's just to smooth it out with the hand plane and the belt sander. Now that I've got the handle roughed out, I can use that to lay out the mortise in the head. And to do that, I'm going to lay the handle right on the head, like this. I've already got a couple marks on here to show where the handle needs to be, and I'm going to use a marker to mark the angle right on the head. Next, I need to extend those lines across the top and bottom of the head. Now it's over to the drill press to drill out the majority of the mortise with a 7/8 inch Forstner bit. I drill halfway from one side, flip the block, and drill the rest. Here I'm cutting a guide block on the miter saw that matches the taper on the handle. The next step is to chop out the mortise, but first I need to tune up my chisel. Alright, well now the fun begins. I get to do some handwork, actually using my mallet to make a mallet. I'm going to clamp the head into my vise here on the table, make sure it's secure, and using my freshly sharpened chisel, try to remove as much as I can with the chisel angled backwards like this. Afterwards, I'm going to use the guide block to guide the chisel at the correct angle. Okay, I've cut to the line all the way around on both sides and in about a 1/2 inch. Now, I can use my guide block and clamp that on to guide the chisel at the correct angle. The angle follows the angle of the taper on the handle. Of course, after you get in so far, you can remove the guide block because you won't need it anymore. What you've already cut will guide the chisel from there on. To cut from the other side, I flipped the block over, and I've also flipped over the guide block so it follows the angle. The inside of the mortise doesn't have to be perfect, but the handle has to fit in there correctly. Here I'm using a file to smooth out any rough spots. Now that the mortise is finished, I can put the handle in to check to make sure it fits okay. If you find that it's sticking out a bit too far on the end here, you can always slim down the handle a little bit. What you're looking for is a tight fit on the sides and on the ends. What you want to do is tap the handle in, and it should all come up tight on the top and on the bottom. Before putting the mallet together, I've got a couple of more shaping operations. First thing I want to do is slightly round the head and round the corners. The rounding on the head is not strictly necessary, it just looks better. I also want to slim down the handle in the grip area to make it a little bit more comfortable. Now that the head and the handle have been sanded, it's just to put it together. That slips in like that and wedges in tight. You don't need to put any glue in here. Actually, it's recommended that you don't put any glue in here. The wedge fit joint allows for seasonal expansion and contraction of the wood. On the original, I wrapped the handle in string, then I dipped it in urethane to solidify it. It makes for a very comfortable grip. So I'm going to do it on this one also. Here I've marked the grip area and I'm drilling two 1/16 inch holes. Now I'm going to take a small finish nail and poke the end of the string into the hole. Now that the string is in the hole, I can start wrapping it around, and it's just a matter of wrapping it around the handle with each course tight together until you reach the other hole. Then I'll poke the string back into that hole and it will be done. Well, with the grip wrapped, I'm giving the whole mallet a single coat of urethane. Well, that's it. Normally I would say we'll let this dry overnight and it'll be ready to use tomorrow. However, I won't be using this mallet. I'm giving it away. A few weeks back I featured a video on my website from Drew Short. He made a fantastic cabinet to go around his table saw, and I thought it was really neat. Drew's latest video is on making a dead blow mallet, and at the end he said he was going to send me out one in appreciation for getting the word out on his channel. I have to say I very much appreciate that, Drew, and I'm sending you this one in return. You'll have one of mine, I'll have one of yours, we both have each other's. You can never have too many mallets. For everyone else, I highly recommend going to Drew's channel and checking it out. There's a link in the description. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.